Right now, I want to share a high-level overview of my diet that I eat to manage my psoriasis. I am gluten and dairy free, so regardless of why you might be gluten and dairy free, I'm going to give you some insight into how I manage that and what I eat on a regular basis. I'm managing my psoriasis for the past 20 years, and then for the past couple years I've been on this diet, gluten and dairy free. Now remember, I just started a new diet. It's the modified intermittent fasting diet, and throughout this process I'm going to be tracking everything on a daily basis, and I'm currently doing that right now, and I will be publishing that throughout the process. I've purchased a domain name, so I'll be building a website. It's not going to be super fancy, but it'll be a great way to show all of this stuff, and so you can follow along if you're interested. But again, I will be showing everything that I'm eating on a daily basis, so stay tuned for that. You can subscribe, you can check back in on a regular basis to see if you have questions, what do you eat on a regular basis? I'll be publishing all of that with the recipes and everything else. So on to what we want to talk about today. I want to share with you a high-level overview of what I eat and how I manage my weight. So people have reported weight loss because there's so many restrictions in this diet, and I've got some insight on things that you can do for that. So let's go ahead and look at the diet here and start with the overview. So here's what I eat to manage my psoriasis. Overview of the food. So I don't eat any gluten or dairy. I eat a lot of whole foods, lean meat, a lot of vegetables, fruits, nuts, rice, beans, and legumes. For breakfast, I keep it pretty simple, pretty standard most of the time. I'm okay with eating a lot of the same things for breakfast. So I love granola with almond milk. I like pancakes. I have a delicious gluten and dairy-free banana pancake recipe. I like hash browns with ketchup on it. I do fruit smoothies, oatmeal with peanut butter and brown sugar. There's lots of gluten and dairy-free cereals out there like Chex and Cheerios. And then on the weekends, if I want to be fancy, I can do a corn tortilla with avocado, maybe put some bacon in there and put some salsa, so you can make some breakfast tacos. And then for lunch, I like a lot of meat with vegetables. So that's steak, chicken, pork chops, fish. I do tacos. I can eat out, and a lot of times I can get tacos. They're pretty simple and plain, but I can get ground beef or chicken tacos with lettuce and tomato on it. Lettuce wraps. A lot of restaurants you can substitute a bun for a wrap, and Jimmy John's for sandwiches, they actually have an unwich. So I do that instead of a sandwich, and I get a lettuce wrap. Of course, I remove all of the mayonnaise and anything else like that. I do fruit smoothies again for lunch. Rice bowls. Either I'm making them at home, or if I go out to eat, a lot of places do rice bowls. Chipotle has a great rice bowl that you can make gluten and dairy free. Then from the grocery store, a quick easy meal, frozen burritos. Amy's brand has gluten and dairy free burritos that are really good, and of course you can just microwave them in a couple minutes. And then anywhere you can always get a burger with a lettuce bun. Dinners. I do a lot of meat with veggies again, spaghetti with meat sauce, curry with sweet potatoes, lots of different Asian stir fry with gluten-free soy sauce, of course. Soy sauce is one of those things that they put wheat in it to thicken it up. But there are gluten-free soy sauces out there, plus coconut aminos, which is very similar to soy sauce. And then rice noodles themselves, you can really get creative with rice noodles and add a bunch of different toppings. You've got that peanut Thai sauce that's really good. Good old-fashioned steak and potatoes. Lots of different tofu dishes. And then gluten-free pizza without cheese. There's a couple different local restaurants that have gluten-free pizza. And I've looked into their crust. Now you have to be careful with that because a lot of time they put other stuff in there, cheese sometimes, and then eggs. It depends on kind of what you're doing with your diet. I'm just avoiding eggs right now, so I just look at that when I'm doing gluten-free crusts. So that's kind of the overview of the food here. Now, when you're gluten and dairy free, you can sometimes run into the issue of you're losing weight because you're not eating that many calories. So for me, I typically eat between 1,800 and 2,000 calories a day. Now, I have calculated this and tracked it multiple times, so I use that with MyFitnessPal. It's an application you can download on an iPhone or an Android, and you can track everything that you eat, and it'll give you a calorie breakdown as well, so you can really see how much you are eating. But what does that mean? So I have figured out how to calculate how many calories a person should be eating based on their age and activity level and everything else. So I go to a BMR calculator, so you can actually just go to the internet here and you can look up, it's calculator.net/BMR-calculator. I'll put a link to this in the video. So here's what you do. You just pop in your age here. So I'll do me here. I'm 38 years old at the time of this recording. I'm 5 foot 9 inches and I currently weigh 187 pounds. And then I click calculate. And right here, it gives me my results. So this is my BMR, my basal metabolic rate, and it shows it right up here. So this is the amount of calories that I would need to eat in any given day just to maintain 187 pounds. And that's with no activity. That's just baseline, basic bodily functions, heart beating, breathing, things like that, right? Organ function. Now down here, they add in kind of some extra calories based on your fitness level. So if you're sedentary with little or no exercise, just kind of putzing around throughout the day, 2,100 calories would maintain that weight for me. So what you can do with this is you can punch in a weight here. So typically if you're trying to lose weight or gain weight, you can pop in the weight that you're trying to get to, and then you can go from there. So for me personally, I want to lose a little bit of weight. So let's go to 175 and calculate that. So that's my base metabolic rate calories right there at 1,704. So little to no exercise at about 2,000. So for me personally, I would play with this a little bit because it's not perfect, right? Because everybody's a little bit different. Some people are more hyperactive than others. Some people are just more naturally active, whether that's getting around, pacing around the floors, things like that, depending on your job as well. So I would play with this number and eat between 1,700 and 2,000 calories a day for a couple weeks. If I wasn't losing weight, then I would drop that calorie count until I'm starting to see the results that I'm looking for. So hopefully that helps and gives you a little bit of insight into how I manage my lifestyle and my diet. It is pretty challenging. It takes a lot of time at the beginning because you have to read every single label on everything, and then when you go out to eat, you have to ask a lot of questions and make sure that things aren't contaminated. For me, I don't have celiac disease, and it's not that severe that if I do get a trace amount of gluten, I'm not, sick for days or weeks afterwards. So I'm okay with, some cross-contamination, so I'm not overly concerned about making sure that I tell everybody that, hey, make sure that wasn't, touching anything else that could have had gluten or dairy on it. There are some good snacks that I like on a regular basis. Popcorn, your kettle corn popcorn. That's just that sweet, salty popcorn. It's delicious. And then Oreos actually came out with a gluten-free Oreo, and then Oreos by themselves are vegan. So I have been known to crush an entire box of gluten-free Oreos, hence why I'm probably still at 187 pounds, even though I am gluten and dairy free. That doesn't mean healthy. And then if you're looking for high-calorie foods, if you are losing a lot of weight, peanuts, any type of nuts, and nut butter. So peanut butter, almond butter, avocados, healthy fats, things like that are pretty high-calorie, so you can still keep up your calories even when you're limiting a lot of the different foods that you can eat. So there you go. That's a little bit insight. Hopefully that helps you. If you want to follow along and see everything that I'm publishing, please feel free to like and subscribe. My name is Drew. I'll see you in the next one.